So I am sick currently. The grind doesn't stop though, but I have lost my voice. So there's going to be a not a lot of talking, um, unless I really need to, like right now. So I stained these a couple days ago and I let them dry because I was noticing that there were different colors. First one I did, last one I did the exact same amount of coats. I did two coats and they're different colors. Um, I don't know why. This is the color I was aiming for. I don't hate this color, but this color has a little bit more brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these two because these two are the colors, the correct colors. And these two are the more brown rather than like a dark brown. This is more like a lighter brown. So I'm going to redo these ones. I'm going to just do another coat on these. I'm going to leave these the way they are. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to do a couple other areas as the first coat as well, because I'm going to be doing two projects at once today. I'm going to be doing this one where I stain, I let it dry for a few hours, and then I'm actually going to go upstairs and patch some holes in some drywall that the electrician put in when they were putting up a few light fixtures. So just so you know, I didn't want to overdo it on this layer, just because it already had that base layer. I don't want it to be too dark where now it doesn't match those ones, the other ones I do like. So I'm not even going to let this sit for the full 5 minutes. I'm going to let this sit for probably another 30 seconds, which is probably going to be about 2 minutes total. Wipe it off and kind of let it dry like that. Again, I don't want it to be darker than those ones. I want it all to match. So, and since this had that base layer, I just want to make sure it matches. So I am probably just going to wipe it off now and see how it looks and go from there. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. The first initial wipe, I apply a decent amount of pressure and then I lightly brush it off. I'm not the best at staining, so I don't know if you'd want to take my advice. But essentially what I try to do is get this rag wet with the stain. And you can see that this one actually looks a lot better. So I'm going to use the stain that I just took off from that, the excess stain, and wipe this one again. Try to get this one a little bit darker than what it was and let it dry. So these actually are looking much better than what they did before. Again, just taking the excess and just lightly rubbing it in one full stroke. And then I'm going to just let these dry.
Hey pretty baby, am I in your way? Cause you walked out so fast yesterday. No, I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here to stay. So tell me what you want, tell me how you want it. Tell me all the reasons that you're running away. I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here to stay. No, no, no. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you, yeah. I just wanna be with you. Yeah, I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you, yeah. I just wanna be with you. Yeah, I just wanna be with you. I just wanna dance all night. Forget my problems, I might go insane. I don't really give a damn what they say. And now you know it. Hey, little lady said you feel the same, but I don't believe a word you say. Cause I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here to stay. So tell me what you want, tell me how you want it. Tell me all the reasons that you're running away.
If you're a little limited on room like I am, I'm going to put a cloth down. This is a microfiber. I'm going to put a microfiber cloth down just to put this on here. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the grain here. So you're going to be able to see a few mistakes on here, like what I was explaining. Specifically right here, there's a big dip. And this was caused by the flattening with the router bit because I don't have a planer. But essentially I'm going to go with the grain, and I'm going to try to get as much as I possibly can done on here. Personally, I don't know if you want to, like, because again, I'm new at this. I don't know if essentially you want to do it all in like one single flush, or if I can do like a section at a time. I don't fully know. What I try to do is I try to do a section, then the next section, and then try to brush it all the way through to make it look nice. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but we're going to try. This is the bottom, so if it is messed up, then at least I get to teach you something.
So tell me what you want, tell me how you want it, tell me all the reasons that you're running away. I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here to stay. No, no, no. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. Yeah. I just wanna be with you. Yeah, I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. Yeah. I just wanna be with you. Yeah, I just wanna be with you. I just want.
So since I started this side first, I'm going to start wiping this side off, see how it starts to look, and determine if I'm going to wipe the rest of it. So far, I really love the grain of this and how it's looking. Again, this one's going to be a little weird. I got to wipe it against the grain, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect in there because that's where the C channels are going to be. But this is looking beautiful. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do this after. Just from me learning on this project. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. I'm going to end up doing 2 coats on this. But just know I am liking it.
Yeah, I just wanna be with you. Yeah, I just wanna be with you. I just wanna dance all night, forget my problems, I might go insane. I don't really give a damn what they say. And now you know it. I feel like you're lying, trying to be real, but you seem so fake. I'm so over trying to move on, but you're in my way. I'm
So things are starting to look real good right now. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do the second coat today. I came down after doing another project, trying to let all of this dry. Took about another 1.5 to 2 hours, and I was just kind of touching things. You can even see some of the grains are actually still wet. So I don't want to do a second coat until all of this is completely dry. But I got the first coat on everything that needed a coat. So I did the tops and the bottoms and the sides of the desktops themselves. This is going to be the main desktop. This is going to be the other part of the L that the actual the drawers are under. So essentially this is just going to connect like that. And I did the entire drawer, the drawer casing as well, and the drawer fronts are all done. They're all, the drawer fronts actually are done. They have 2 coats on them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple things that are now prevalent to me that I'm now seeing. The things that went wrong that I talked about earlier in the video. I'm going to kind of get you a little bit of a close-up here on some of these. Specifically with this one. Like I said, this is going to be the main desktop. And when I was using this router, the Milwaukee router, this router, the Milwaukee router, and the jig to do the flattening, what was happening was I was going back and forth with a 1-inch flattening bit. And I was going back and forth, and I had to flatten it over and over and over again. You were only able to take about 1/4 of an inch off at a time, even a little less. So I ended up doing a full pass and then did another full pass. I did this on this side, and I did it on the underside, and I did the same thing with that desktop over there. And what ended up happening was, even though I tightened this screw, I'm going to just do this over just in case there's any dust. What ended up happening was this ended up dropping down. right? So I had it not all the way down. So this ends up moving, okay? I had this in place, I had this locked, and I was holding it like this specifically, and the bit ended up just dropping down, or not even the bit, this whole thing ended up just moving, the slightest bit. And what ended up happening is this unevenness. You can see the lines now, and this is what I was worried about. You can see the lines a lot more clear now that the stain is in here. And I tried to sand them out. It was a lot to try to sand it out, and I would have taken down so much that I didn't want to do it. I said, you know, I'm gonna have to kind of live with this and hope that it doesn't look horrible. I don't hate it. It's okay for me personally. But the way you can avoid this is either a planer, but that thing's like $800. I'm not owning a planer anytime soon. Or what I did on, funny enough, one of the back sides, or even this one is a little bit better, is I lowered this when I was using the jig. I lowered this so that way this was fully extended. It could not lower anymore. So when I would do my first pass, my second pass, my third pass, it literally could not move because this was all the way extended. The bit couldn't get bigger. It couldn't drop down because it was already as low as it could possibly go. So that is my advice to you. If you end up flattening it with a Milwaukee router, just be careful because this dial will spin and it'll end up lowering it, which will cause you to make these deeper divots that you don't want to make. And that is the problem that I had. And that is why you're seeing these lines. I mean, you can see it right here. You can see them here. You can see it here. And all the way through, you can see it. And that's because it lowered. And then I'd have to go back over it. And it was, on other ones, you can see it way worse than this one. Really bad on one of these and on the backside. So that's my advice. It's too late for me to come and fix it now. I am going to have to live with it. It's not horrible, but I just want to make you aware of what that is and why it looks like that. Welcome back. So we have the first coat completely dried. It's about 6:45 in the morning on Monday. I have a couple hours before I have to start working for the day. So I'm going to try to finish the stain on for the second coat on all of this. So with that being said, I am going to be kind of rushing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stain the bottoms of these first. That way when I go and put them on the table, if it does end up coming off a little bit, it's at least on the bottom. I suggest taking your time doing this. But again, I'm on a severe time crunch. I leave for the airport tomorrow morning around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I won't be back until Sunday. So I am on a little bit of a time crunch to get this done because then I won't be able to work on this until that following weekend. And I have other projects that I have to do, like painting. So I'm going to try to get at least the staining done. That way I could get the poly done at least in one day or 2 separate days and do the other projects in between. So I'm going to get this done now. Welcome back. So I just got back from vacation late last night. I didn't look at this until now, but essentially it's been about a week since I've checked on this. Everything looks great. As you saw earlier in the video, I did stain this basically still wet, flipped it upside down, and then stained the top of it. So I knew I was going to get some of these lines in here. This is the bottom. I'm not too stressed about it. If you didn't want these lines, just don't rush like I did. But essentially I do just have some of these marks, on the bottom of this that just is a little bit darker, and it's essentially just the lines of the wrap that I have under here, the plastic. There's really not much I could do about it now unless I wanted to do another coat of stain, which I don't. But I knew it was going to happen, and it is what it is for me. I knew I was limited on time. I had to get it done before I left. So essentially I'm going to put some poly on it. I'm going to try for 3 coats. I might only do 2 depending on how it comes out. But what I have here is just a damp microfiber, and I'm going to wipe this down. This is what you're supposed to do prior to polying, because you don't want any sawdust or anything left over. I wasn't down here for a week, so there could have just been any sort of dust settling, anything like that. So I'm going to wipe down the tops of this, and that entire thing. And then before I poly it on the top of this, since this is the bottom of the desktop, once I flip it around, I'll wipe it with a damp cloth as well. So I'm going to wipe all of these down, get ready to do the poly, and go from there.
Sometimes when you're here, I can feel no doubts, 'cause you keep me where the stars are found. It doesn't really matter.
So I have my poly here. Just normal, fast drying poly. Easy, smooth application right here. Got it from Sherwin-Williams, I believe, when I picked up the stain. And it is an oil-based. Personally, I like water-based more. But since I bought it, I'm going to use it. So you want to mix this. You don't want to shake it really hard, almost like you do with paint, because you want to avoid any air bubbles. And then for applying wise, pretty easy. You just do a thin layer of poly and make sure the entire area is coated nicely. And you don't wipe like you do with stain. And then what you do is you let it dry and then you sand it down. Again, I'm not going to lather this up. I'm going to just do a nice thin coat. You can see the color difference when you're doing this. Nice, thin, even layers. And when you're applying this, you can actually see the bubbles, right? So like I can see the bubbles on here, and that will get sanded out. But nice, thin, even layers. Make sure everything is nice. That is some strong shit right there. Whew, I'm gonna put a mask on. Oil-based, man. I forgot how bad it is. I do suggest doing this with some good lighting as well, because with the lighting you can kind of see where it's wet and where it's dry. So I do highly recommend that. And then what I do is once I just kind of do a nice light evening after I get it all wet. This is just personally what I do. I don't see a lot of other people doing it. I don't know if you're technically supposed to. And then I just like to get my edges as well. And when you do these like little edges like what I'm doing, you also try to get the excess off so it doesn't drip. But essentially, that's what it should look like. Then you let it dry, and all of these air bubbles, they do end up staying, and you do a nice gentle sanding, and then it'll look good. All right, so this says 3 to 4 hours. Wait 3 to 4 hours to apply another coat. So I'm going to be waiting probably until like Wednesday night to do this because it's currently Monday night. Tomorrow I'm not going to be able to do it. So Wednesday night it is. So I'm going to wait until Wednesday to do another coat of this. I'm going to do this one and do that drawer. And then I'll just be waiting.
Sometimes when you're here, I can feel no doubts, 'cause you keep me where
there's the first coat. I'm going to try to, between the gym and working and showering tomorrow morning, flip these and get a coat on real quick. That way the whole first coat on everything will be done. And then I'll be able to sand it down, on Wednesday night and kind of go from there. But this is the first coat on everything that I'm able to do right now. Drawer faces, desktop bottoms, and the drawer case as well. First coat is done on everything. So once I can get back to this on Wednesday, I'll try to do the second coat, and same thing. I'll do, Wednesday night, I'll do the second coat on everything except for the tops of the desktop. And then I'll try to do that on Thursday morning. And that'll be the second coat. And we'll see if we do a third coat from there. Other than that, it will be just putting the drawers into the drawer casing and putting it all together, honestly. So I'm really, really excited. I love the way this is coming out. And yeah, let's do this thing. Thank you guys for watching. I'm excited. We have the entire first coat of poly completed. Yesterday morning, after I went to the gym, what I'm doing now, after I went to the gym, before I get ready for work, I have a little bit of time. So I flipped these after they were completely dry and polyed it. So now what I'm gonna do is, I thought I had some 320. I have 400. I either have 220 or 400 for some sandpaper. I'm gonna do 400. I'm gonna give it a really light sand. That way it could be extremely smooth. The point of this is to get out all of the either air bubbles. If you kind of run your hand over it a little bit, you can sometimes in certain spots you can feel like little bumps. The goal is to get those little bumps completely out when you do the second coat. Then you do that again, and same thing. So when you're done with this, it should be completely smooth. If you don't do this, it is okay. I did it for a bookshelf and I didn't sand it in between the poly coats. You can definitely feel the roughness. Kind of sucks, but we didn't really need it to be fully sanded. But for this, since I'm going to be using this every day and I'm going to be having my arms on it and whatever it may be, hands, it's a desk, I'm going to be using it every day. I want it to be completely smooth. So I'm going to do this. And while I'm doing this, I'm just inspecting and just looking to see any of the little imperfections that happened. That way I can give you guys some tips after. So now that this is done, roughly, you'll be able to actually tell when you take a rag. Again, this is a wet microfiber, separate from the one that I was using before. And if you just take a rag and you just do a wipe, you'll be able to feel any imperfections on this. It could, snag it, whatever it may be. You can kind of feel the bumps going over, like for these knots, I kind of feel it. But you'll be able to feel it. And then if you do feel anything, you can just run it over with your sandpaper again. Don't worry, it might look a little crappy. It won't look as nice and clean looking as this, but it will. It will. So you can kind of tell the difference. This has a really nice shine to it, like a really, really shiny. This is a little bit more dull. Once you put the second coat, it's going to look like that again, and you just keep sanding it down. This is extremely soft. Big fan. Big fan. If I did not have to do a second coat, I would love the feel of this. You can kind of feel that this gets a little sticky a little bit, but I'm going to flip this and do the other side. So this is post sanding the first coat of poly. I wanted to point a couple things out. So when I was sanding, there was a couple things that I was sanding a little bit more aggressive on, just because they were not soft, right? It's not smooth like the other one, like the rest of the board. So a couple things I want to point out so you could see it. So you can actually see it. It's hard to see from this angle, but I know you could see it over there. And I saw it when I was walking in. So I sanded these pretty aggressive. So this is actually what it looks like when you sand off that poly, right? So you can definitely see the difference when it's polyed compared to when it's sanded off too much. So I knew I did this, and it's because of these areas right here where it seems like that I put some wood putty in it just didn't either stain or put the poly on fully, and it just didn't adhere to it. But other than that, everything else looks great. Everything is sanded down. Everything is ready to go. And I'm going to be putting the second coat of poly on now. And then same thing, letting it dry overnight, flipping these two, doing the backside, let it dry, sand later tomorrow afternoon. So let's get to it. I'm probably just going to cut all of, I'm probably going to cut to the finished poly after the 2 to 3 times. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'll let you guys know later. But I'm going to just cut all of this out since it's going to be the same thing that I did before. And if anything comes up, I will be sure to let you know. So thanks. So I just recorded this. Found out I wasn't recording again. So I did all 3 coats on each section. So 3 coats on this desktop, 3 coats on this desktop, 3 coats on the shell for the drawers and the drawer fronts, 3 coats of poly on each. I did notice that after the second, when I sanded after the second coat of poly, I realized you didn't really have to. It was nice and smooth, and I sanded it down anyways. And a couple things I noticed that I couldn't really get out of, specifically right here on this, I don't know if you can see it. It's very specific lighting, but there's some scratches that I couldn't really get out, even though I did like the lightest sanding ever. I couldn't really get that out, so it is what it is. But so when I did my second coat, I did do a sand, light sand, but when I did my third, I did not sand after that. I wanted it to be nice and you know, perfect basically for it. So that is what I did. You don't really see any air bubbles. Everything's nice and smooth, so I didn't really see the purpose of that. But my plan today is to put these C channels in, which I've never done before, but I did this screw, so these should be easy. So put the C channels in both of these, put the legs on all of these, and then also put the drawers, finish putting the drawers together and get the drawers installed. And hopefully I can finish all this today. So we'll see. Let's do it. All right, so these screws are pretty cool. So these go in this hole that I already pre-drilled previously. So you just put these in, pretty tight fit, and then a screw screws into this. So it is extremely secure. And it comes with everything that you need. So it's pretty nice. And to get these in, again, you just pre-drill the holes. Comes with everything you need in the kit that I bought on Amazon for pretty cheap. So everything I saw about these, I got this idea from Amazon or from YouTube originally. Everything I saw about these was when you're screwing them in, every once in a while, just go backwards as well. So you'll go forward, and then you just kind of go backwards, and then you go forwards again. It said something about just getting a secure connection to the wood. I don't know how accurate that is, but if that person was doing it every time, I'd assume it's correct. It could be totally wrong about that, and I look like an idiot, but I don't know why that would have a better connection. But we'll do it anyways.
The summer's calling. If the kingdom is overthrown, meet me at the cornerstone. I know that I can't be without you.
All right, so I have a few things here. This is the bottom of the desk drawers. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting these on here. These are adjustable legs, and essentially this mounts in here. I can I can screw these in right here and adjust them as I need to. I want about 1 full inch. Cool. Those are in. I know they're not exactly where they need to be, but they are in, and they're good for right now, and I can make adjustments to it. That was the point. I can make said changes when it's actually up and standing and attached to the desk. I got the C channels completed right here on both of these. So these are all good, but I'm going to be putting together these drawers. That's what I want to do as my next step. But I'm going to glue this bottom piece in. At the same time, I'm going to glue this front plate in. And in order to make it the way it's supposed to be, I have to clamp these two sides in. So I'm going to clamp here, and then I'm going to try to evenly put this in somehow, like this. Hopefully this works. Unknown. I don't really have anything to get it in here. I mean, it doesn't need to be like fully locked in, right? I'm sure they have tools to really like get in there. I just don't have them. I mean, I'm sure you could like use a pencil, but I'm sure this is fine, no? Is this the right way? There's a right and a wrong way with this board. This was not the right way. I couldn't remember which side was which. How does this even happen? Why is this so fucking lopsided? Am I on something? What the fuck happened? It wasn't like this before. But then as soon as I clamp things on, it gets lopsided. I don't understand it. If you're wondering, I quit nicotine and I'm very angry and grumpy. So we're gonna do this. And we're also going to do right here. Let's hope this works. It's a pretty good amount of glue. That way when I inevitably fuck up, which I did, because I put it on the edge. See, I knew that I would inevitably fuck up. Okay, so I'm going to do something that you do not have to do, and that is going to be using this brad nailer. So one, I really want to use it because I've never used one before, and two, it's because I got it at the tag sale that I want to try. So I think I have 5/8 inch nails in here. So I'm going to shoot it into the bottom of this and see how it goes. My goal is to hold this in even more than the glue. So I'm gonna I don't know where it comes out of. Assuming just like the dead center right here. So, wow. Made the lights flicker. All right, so first time using a brad nailer. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I kind of like it. Probably could have done this instead of the gluing, but we did both. And now this is our first drawer. It's fucking so annoying. And expect things to fall. Loud noises. In order to make sure that this is lined up correctly, it needs to be 3/4 of an inch in. Every single one. So moment of truth of how this is gonna go. Not great. Not great, not horrible. It's completely lopsided. You can tell here. I don't know how when these were on, it was not. So I don't really understand, which is slightly aggravating if you cannot tell. The gap here is much smaller than the gap here. How to fix that? You have to take the drawers off and move them.
3 hours later.
I hate this shit. Now why does this side look uneven? Oh my god. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand how this keeps happening. This is stupid as fuck. So that's where it needs to be. On this side. Not on that side. On to the fucking next one. Not great. Off completely here. That is bad. That is bad. How did that even happen? Love that. That is not even close to being lined up. God fucking damn it. Let me say a couple things real quick. One, fuck drawers. That's number one. So these are done. They work. Not too shabby. Could have been better. I don't know how it could have been better. I don't. This bottom drawer, there's a huge gap here, and there needs to stay that huge gap in order to be able to open it due to the legs that I have in here. It is a little sticky. It is a little tight. The drawer kind of sucks. That is the worst one. The rest of them are actually pretty good. Why does it look so empty and clean in here, do you ask? It's because the build is done. The desk with the drawers are upstairs. I'm going to take you to show you what it looks like set up, fully done. Let's go.
we're about 2 weeks post desk build, and I'm loving it. The desk is awesome. It's huge. I got it all set up. I'm gonna put up some pictures like right around here somewhere, showing the full complete with everything on it. You know, everything's complete on it. What I ended up doing to screw in the desktop and the drawers was I ended up just using some L brackets. I think I used 4 1-inch L brackets and 2 2-inch L brackets, just to really hold it in there. And all I did was just level it, make sure everything was good, and screwed it in. So pretty simple, but I am super happy, and I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I do have a few other projects. I realized how small I wrote these, but I have a couple rooms to paint. I did paint one. I didn't record anything because it's such a small bathroom. I didn't have the room. But my next project is going to be painting that office that the desk is in. I have to, some of these things I'm not going to be doing on camera. Like I have to organize my garage, hang hooks, and hang stuff. That's not going to be for you guys. This is mainly for me too. I have to put Christmas lights up this weekend, and I do have to build shelves for Legos and kittens. So we foster kittens. So those kittens we're going to put like shelving up on the wall so they can hop around and run around. And then we also are going to be building Legos, and we want to hang them. So I'm going to build some shelves for that. And then I need to build an end table as well. It's going to be a large, like 3-foot end table. Not sure what that is going to be like yet, but those are my projects so far. So it's going to be a lot of building and a lot of random things throughout the house. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to the next projects. So thanks, guys. One thing I did forget to mention, I do have a TikTok, I do have an Instagram. I'm really bad at posting on them, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to upload some reels, some videos, some pictures. So I do have pictures of the before and after of the bathroom that I painted that I'm going to put up there. It's the same as my YouTube, so it's Project Panda DIY. And yeah, I'd appreciate if you followed that and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.
Calling out